"I hated him." That is what fans whispered for years when they watched Triple H stand in the ring. But who did he really hate? Who did he bury? Who did he sabotage behind the curtain? And after all these years, who finally made peace? This is the story of 10 wrestlers who either faced his wrath or felt the cold shoulder of the most powerful man in wrestling. Some got their revenge, some never came back, and some are still waiting for an apology that might never come. Here are 10 wrestlers Triple H either hated or made sure the company did. Number 10, Shane Douglas. Shane Douglas arrived in the WWF during the mid-1990s with a big reputation. He came from ECW, where he was known as the Franchise. He could talk, he could wrestle, he had star power written all over him. Fans who followed him from ECW knew what he was capable of. He had the promo skills to hang with anyone. He had the technical ability to put on classic matches. And he had the confidence of a man who knew he belonged at the top. But when he walked into the locker room, he walked into enemy territory. The Clique ran the place. Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Triple H. They controlled who got pushed and who got buried. Shane Douglas did not want to play their game. He refused to follow their rules. He did not kiss the ring, and for that, he paid the price. The Clique decided Shane Douglas was lazy. They said he skipped house shows. They said he did not respect the business. They spread rumors about his work ethic. They made sure everyone in power heard their version of the story, but the truth was simpler. Shane did not bow down. He did not treat them like gods. He came in with his own reputation and expected to be treated like the star he was. That attitude did not sit well with the group that controlled everything backstage. So they went to Vince McMahon. They whispered in his ear. They made sure Shane's character became a joke. He was given the gimmick of Dean Douglas, a boring teacher who graded wrestlers on report cards. The vignettes were painful to watch. Shane looked miserable. He sounded robotic. It was creative death wrapped in a suit and tie. Every week, Shane had to stand in front of the camera and grade other wrestlers. He had to deliver lines that made no sense. He had to pretend this gimmick was going to get him over with the fans. But everyone knew it was punishment. The Clique wanted to humiliate him. They wanted to show everyone what happened when you did not fall in line. And the worst part was that Shane had to go along with it. He had signed a contract. He had bills to pay. He had to swallow his pride and do what he was told. The worst moment came when Shawn Michaels had to give up the Intercontinental Championship due to injury. Michaels handed the belt to Shane Douglas in the ring. For a brief moment, it looked like Shane might finally get his shot. The crowd did not know what to think. Was this the start of a real push? Was Shane finally going to be taken seriously? But less than 20 minutes later, he was told to lose the title to Razor Ramon. The whole thing was a setup. Shane was used as a placeholder. He was humiliated on live television. The message was clear. If you do not play ball with the Clique, you do not get to win. You get to be a prop in their game. Shane Douglas left the WWF shortly after. His career never recovered in the way it could have. He went back to ECW. He became a legend there. He won championships. He cut promos that are still talked about today. But he never forgot what Triple H and his friends did to him. Years later, Shane would do shoot interviews where he called out Triple H by name. He said the bullying was real. He said it was designed to protect their spots at the top. And he said Triple H was one of the main architects. Shane Douglas became living proof that crossing the Clique meant the end of your push. Triple H never apologized. He never acknowledged the damage. He just moved on to his next feud. And Shane was left to pick up the pieces of what could have been a legendary WWE career. Number 9, Bret Hart. Bret Hart is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He was a 5-time WWF champion. He was the excellence of execution. He was beloved by fans around the world. And he was betrayed in the most famous screw job in wrestling history. The Montreal screw job happened on November 9th, 1997. Bret Hart refused to lose the WWF championship in Canada to Shawn Michaels. He had creative control in his contract. He had the right to say no. But Vince McMahon ordered the referee to ring the bell anyway. The match ended. Bret was stripped of his title, and Triple H was right there in the middle of it all. Triple H was not the main villain that night. That title goes to Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels. Vince made the call. Shawn went along with it. But Triple H played a key role behind the scenes. When the plan was being discussed, Triple H was the one who said Bret should be screwed. He argued it was best for business. He believed the company came first, and he had no problem lying to Bret's face in the hours leading up to the match. Bret trusted the people around him. He thought they would respect his contract. He thought they would respect his legacy. That trust trust was shattered in front of millions of people. The planning of the screw job took place in secret meetings. Only a handful of people knew what was going to happen. Triple H was in those meetings. He gave his input. He helped shape the plan. And when it came time to execute it, he did not hesitate. He stood by and watched as Bret Hart's career in WWE ended in the most humiliating way possible. Triple H knew exactly what he was doing. He knew it would destroy Bret's trust. He knew it would change the business forever. But he did it anyway because it protected the power structure he was part of. The hatred between Bret Hart and Triple H has lasted nearly 30 years. Bret has never forgiven him. In interviews, Bret calls Triple H a phony. He says Triple H only got to the top because he married Stephanie McMahon. He says Triple H was always Vince's hitman, doing the dirty work so others did not have to. Bret even admitted he wishes he had knocked Triple H out in the locker room that night. He said one punch could have stopped everything. He believes one punch could have changed the entire trajectory of WWE history. That is how deep the anger runs. That is how much Bret blames Triple H for what happened. Triple H dismisses Bret's comments. He says it was business. He says Bret held the company hostage by refusing to drop the belt. He says Bret was being selfish. But the facts remain. Triple H actively participated in deceiving a man who gave everything to the business. And when Bret speaks about that night, he does not talk about Shawn or Vince. He talks about Triple H because Triple H was supposed to be neutral. Instead, he chose a side. And that side was not loyalty. It was power. It was protecting the people who could help him climb the ladder. Bret Hart returned to WWE years later for a brief reconciliation. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame. He even had a match with Vince McMahon, but his relationship with Triple H remains ice cold. There are no hugs, no handshakes, just silence. When they see each other at events, they keep their distance. Bret got his Hall of Fame ring, but he never got an apology from the man who helped orchestrate his betrayal, and he probably never will. Number 8, Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner is a freak of nature, literally. His physique was unmatched. His intensity was off the charts. His promos were insane and unpredictable. When he returned to WWE in 2003, fans were excited. This was supposed to be a huge feud. Scott Steiner versus Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. It should have been a classic. Instead, it became one of the biggest disasters in WrestleMania history, and the blame fell on both men. But the backstage heat was all on Triple H. Scott Steiner did not play politics. He said what he thought. He did what he wanted. And when Triple H tried to control the direction of their feud, Scott pushed back. Steiner was used to being the top guy. He was used to calling his own shots. He was not going to let Triple H dictate how things were going to go. The tension was immediate. Triple H wanted to protect his title. He wanted to make sure he looked strong. Steiner wanted to be the unstoppable monster he had been in WCW. Those two visions did not match. The tension exploded when WWE officials asked Scott to take a steroid test. This was a huge moment. Everyone in the locker room knew what was really going on. Steroid use was an open secret in wrestling, but the company rarely called people out on it unless they wanted to make a point. Scott's response was legendary. He said he would take the test only if Triple H took one with him. The request was immediately dropped. That tells you everything you need to know about who had the real power. Triple H was protected. Steiner was not. And that imbalance defined their entire feud. The match at the Royal Rumble in 2003 was painful to watch. It was slow. It was boring. The crowd turned on both of them. They chanted boring during what was supposed to be the main event. Triple H blamed Scott's conditioning. He said Steiner could not go. He said Steiner was broken down. Scott blamed Triple H's ego. He said Triple H refused to let him do his moves. He said Triple H tried to make him look bad on purpose. The truth was somewhere in the middle, but the damage was done. Scott Steiner's run in WWE was cut short. He was never given another real chance. And years later, Scott would become one of Triple H's loudest critics. Scott Steiner did not stay quiet. He did shoot interviews where he tore into Triple H. He questioned Triple H's qualifications to run the company. He mocked his physique. He called him out for playing politics. He said Triple H was never as good as people claimed. And he said the only reason Triple H made it to the top was because he married the boss's daughter. Steiner refused to play nice. He refused to stay silent. And because of that, he has never been welcomed back. Triple H moved on like nothing happened. He kept his title. He kept his spot. And Scott Steiner was pushed down the card until he eventually left. There was no reconciliation, no handshake, no Hall of Fame induction. Scott Steiner remains one of the few major names from that era who has never been welcomed back. And the reason is simple. He challenged Triple H. He refused to bow down, and Triple H does not forget. Number 7, Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam was the coolest wrestler in the company. His moveset was unique, his charisma was effortless, and in 2002, he was more over than almost anyone on the roster. Fans chanted his name in every arena. They wanted him to be champion. They believed in him. But Triple H had other plans. During Triple H's reign of terror, Rob Van Dam was repeatedly buried in feuds that made no sense. And behind the scenes, Triple H made it clear he did not respect Rob's style or his lifestyle. Triple H mocked Rob Van Dam for smoking marijuana. He teased him in front of the locker room. He made jokes about Rob's laid-back attitude. He said Rob did not take the business seriously enough. He said Rob was not professional. And when Rob injured Triple H during the first-ever Elimination Chamber match, things got worse. Rob botched a 5-star frog splash. Triple H's larynx was crushed. It was a serious injury. Rob apologized immediately. He felt terrible. But the company's response was to limit his push even further. Rob Van Dam was never allowed to reach the main event the way fans wanted. The injury was not entirely Rob's fault. Wrestling is dangerous. Mistakes happen. But Triple H used it as ammunition. He made sure everyone knew Rob was the one who hurt him. He made sure the story spread through the locker room. And when it came time to book future matches, Rob was always positioned a step below where he should have been. He was kept in the mid-card. He was given meaningless feuds. And whenever he got close to the top, something always stopped him. Rob later talked about interactions where Triple H would tell him the company was going to pull the plug on his momentum. He would say it with a smile, like it was a joke. But Rob knew it was not a joke. It was a warning. Triple H saw Rob as a mid-carder, and no amount of crowd support would change that. Rob Van Dam remained stuck in the mid-card for years, not because he lacked talent, but because the man at the top did not want him to rise. Triple H did not see Rob as a threat to his position. He saw Rob as someone who did not fit the mold of what a champion should be. The relationship between Rob Van Dam and Triple H eventually softened. Rob returned to WWE multiple times over the years, but he was never given the main event run he deserved. And when Rob speaks about that era, he does not hide his frustration. He knows what could have been, and he knows who stopped it from happening. Triple H buried Rob Van Dam with a smile, and Rob never forgot. Number 6, Booker T. Booker T was a 5-time WCW champion. He was one of the most talented performers in the business. He could wrestle, he could talk, he could entertain. And in 2003, he was on the verge of becoming WWE champion. The build to WrestleMania 99 was intense. Triple H cut promos that made fans uncomfortable. He told Booker T that people like you do not become champion. He told Booker to do a spine-a-rooney for his amusement. The subtext was clear. This was not just about wrestling. This was about race. Triple H's promos during that feud crossed a line. He talked down to Booker T. He treated him like he was less than. He made it clear that in his mind, Booker T was an entertainer, not a competitor. And the way he said it made fans believe there was a deeper meaning. Was he saying that black wrestlers could not be champions? Was he saying that WCW stars did not deserve to be at the top? Either way, the message was ugly, and fans wanted Booker T to prove Triple H wrong. Fans rallied behind Booker T. They wanted him to win. They needed him to win. The story demanded it. The entire feud was built around Booker T overcoming the doubt, overcoming the disrespect, overcoming the man who said he did not belong. But when the match ended, Triple H pinned Booker T after a single pedigree, and the pin took almost 30 seconds. Triple H crawled across the ring in slow motion. He draped one arm over Booker's chest. The referee counted 1, 2, 3. The crowd sat in stunned silence. Booker T lost, and his momentum died that night. The decision to have Triple H win was criticized immediately. Fans could not understand it. Wrestlers could not understand it. Even people backstage thought it was the wrong call. Booker T should have won. The story made no sense otherwise. But Triple H went over, and the reason seemed clear to everyone watching. Triple H wanted to protect his spot. He did not want to lose to a WCW guy. He did not want to give up his title. So he used his influence to make sure he won. Booker T has said in interviews that the paycheck made up for the loss. He said he got paid well for that match. And at the end of the day, wrestling is a business. But fans never forgave it. They saw it as Triple H using his power to keep a WCW star from reaching the top. They saw it as a missed opportunity to tell a redemptive story, and they saw it as proof that Triple H cared more about his spot than the good of the company. Booker T eventually won the World Heavyweight Championship years later, but it was too late. The moment had passed. The magic was gone. Triple H never addressed the controversy. He moved on to his next feud. Booker T stayed professional, but the damage was done. That WrestleMania match remains one of the most criticized booking decisions in WWE history, and it all came down to one man refusing to do the right thing. Triple H could have made Booker T a star that night. Instead, he chose to beat him, and the industry remembers. Number 5, Goldberg. Goldberg was the biggest star WCW ever created. His undefeated streak made him a household name. He was unstoppable. He was explosive. And when he signed with WWE in 2003, fans were excited. This was the dream match, Goldberg versus Triple H. But before Goldberg even arrived, Triple H was mocking him. He made fun of Goldberg for punching through a limousine window in WCW. The injury from that incident kept Goldberg out for months during WCW's final days. Triple H called Goldberg reckless. He said Goldberg did not love the business, and when Goldberg finally showed up, the backstage environment was hostile. Goldberg felt uncomfortable from day one. Triple H was close friends with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. Both men had issues with Goldberg from their WCW days. Nash famously ended Goldberg's streak. Hall and Nash were part of the NWO, which feuded with Goldberg for years, and Triple H made sure Goldberg knew he was not welcome in their circle. The locker room politics were brutal. Goldberg was an outsider. He did not have allies, and he did not have the political skills to navigate the WWE system. The creative direction for Goldberg was terrible. He was forced into long, competitive matches that did not play to his strengths. Goldberg worked best as a dominant force. Spear, jackhammer, win. That was his formula. It worked in WCW, but WWE wanted to do things differently. They wanted Goldberg to have 20-minute matches. They wanted him to sell for his opponents. They wanted to prove that their guys were just as good as the WCW legend. And in the process, they killed what made Goldberg special. The worst moment came at SummerSlam 2003. Triple H pinned Goldberg clean in the middle of the ring, and Triple H was so injured during that match, he could barely walk. His groin was torn. He could hardly move, but he still went over. It was a political statement. Triple H wanted everyone to know that even a legend like Goldberg could not beat him. Goldberg was furious backstage. He threw equipment. He yelled. He could not believe what had just happened. But when Triple H confronted him, Goldberg backed down. He thanked Triple H for the match and left. The next day, Goldberg was suspended. Goldberg's WWE run ended shortly after. He left the company and did not return for over a decade. And when he finally came back for brief appearances, his relationship with Triple H remained cold. In recent interviews, Goldberg has suggested that the lingering animosity is why he has not been asked back for a final match in 2024 or 2025. Triple H is now in charge, and Goldberg is still on the outside. Some grudges never die. And even though both men are older now, the tension from 2003 still hangs over their relationship. Number 4, Ultimate Warrior. The Ultimate Warrior was a wrestling icon. His energy was unmatched. His promos were legendary. And when he returned to WWE in 1996, fans went wild. But his match with Triple H at WrestleMania 13 was a disaster. Triple H was a rising star at the time. He pitched creative ideas for the match. He wanted to do something memorable. He wanted to show what he could do. The Warrior ignored all of them. He treated Triple H like a jobber, and the match lasted 1 minute and 39 seconds. The Warrior no-sold Triple H's finisher. He hit his own moves. He pinned Triple H clean, and he left. Triple H was humiliated. He later called the experience one of the most unprofessional moments of his career. He said the Warrior refused to listen. He said the Warrior only cared about himself. And for years, Triple H harbored deep resentment. He did not hide it. He talked about it in interviews. He made it clear the Warrior was a selfish performer who did not respect the business. Triple H felt disrespected. He felt like his ideas were dismissed, and he felt like the Warrior did not care about helping the next generation. But then something changed. In 2014, Triple H was in his executive role. He had the power to bring people back, and he chose to bring back the Ultimate Warrior. Triple H spearheaded the Warrior's induction into the Hall of Fame. The Warrior gave an emotional speech. He thanked WWE. He thanked the fans. And just days later, the Ultimate Warrior passed away. Triple H was one of the last people to reconcile with him. This moment showed a different side of Triple H. It showed he could let go of old grudges. It showed he could prioritize legacy over personal feelings. But it also raised questions. Why did it take so long? Why did Triple H wait until he had all the power before making peace? The Warrior deserved that Hall of Fame induction years earlier, but Triple H held the grudge until the very end. And only when he became the boss did he finally let it go. The timing felt convenient. It felt like Triple H wanted to control the narrative. And while the Warrior's induction was emotional, it was also a reminder that Triple H holds the keys to everyone's legacy now. Number 3, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was a star before he ever walked into WWE. He made his name in WCW. He had the mic skills, he had the in-ring ability, and when he debuted in 1999, the crowd erupted. But backstage, Triple H was not impressed. He mocked Jericho, he made fun of his size, he dismissed his workhorse style, and he made sure Jericho's transition into the main event was as difficult as possible. Jericho has talked about this in his books and podcasts. He said Triple H saw him as a threat. Jericho had charisma. He could cut promos that rivaled anyone in the company, and that made Triple H uncomfortable. So Triple H used his political power to slow Jericho's rise. He made sure Jericho stayed in the mid-card longer than necessary. He made sure Jericho was never seen as a real threat to the top guys. Jericho was given opportunities, but they were always limited. He would get close to the main event, then he would be pulled back down. The tension was real. It was not just storyline heat. Jericho and Triple H genuinely did not like each other, and it showed in their matches. The chemistry was off. The promos felt forced. But over time, things cooled down. Both men eventually became elder statesmen in the company. They found common ground, but Jericho never forgot those early years. He never forgot how hard Triple H made it for him. He never forgot the mocking comments, the dismissive attitude, the feeling that he had to prove himself over and over again just to be taken seriously. Chris Jericho eventually became a multi-time world champion. He became one of the greatest performers of all time, and he did it despite Triple H's resistance. Jericho proved that talent wins in the end, but it should not have been that hard. Triple H could have made Jericho's rise easier. Instead, he made it a fight, and Jericho had to claw his way to the top. The fact that Jericho succeeded says more about his determination than anything else, but it also says something about Triple H's insecurity during that era. Number 2, CM Punk. CM Punk was the voice of the voiceless. His pipe bomb promo in 2011 changed the industry. He called out WWE. He called out Triple H by name. He said Triple H was a corporate sellout. He said Triple H only cared about burying people, and the crowd ate it up. For the first time in years, someone was speaking the truth, and Triple H was in the crosshairs. The feud between CM Punk and Triple H was personal from the start. Punk believed Triple H was everything wrong with wrestling. He believed Triple H represented the old guard that refused to let new talent shine. He believed Triple H was a gatekeeper who only cared about protecting his own legacy. Triple H believed Punk was disrespectful and ungrateful. He believed Punk did not appreciate the opportunities he had been given. He believed Punk was biting the hand that fed him. They had a match at Night of Champions in 2011. Triple H won, and that decision killed Punk's momentum during the summer of Punk. Fans were furious. They wanted Punk to win, but Triple H went over, because that is what Triple H does. The hatred between them grew over the years. Punk walked out of WWE in 2014. He gave a podcast interview where he buried Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. He said they made his life miserable. He said they never respected him. He said they treated him like he was not worth their time. And for nearly a decade, CM Punk stayed away. He refused to return as long as Triple H was in power. But then something shifted. In 2023, CM Punk came back, and somehow he and Triple H found a way to work together. The reconciliation shocked everyone. Fans could not believe it. But Triple H's new philosophy was clear. Bring back the stars, make money, put the past aside, and CM Punk agreed. They shook hands, they moved forward. But the question remains, did they really forgive each other, or did they just realize the business was bigger than their egos? Either way, CM Punk is back, and Triple H is the one who brought him home. It is a business decision, but it also shows that even the deepest grudges can be set aside when the money's right. Number 1, Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock was a legend before he ever entered a wrestling ring. He was a pioneer in mixed martial arts. He was the world's most dangerous man. And when he joined WWE in the late 1990s, he brought legitimacy. But he also brought a moral code that did not fit the locker room culture. The Clique loved to haze younger wrestlers. They played pranks. They bullied. They controlled. And Ken Shamrock stood up to them. Shamrock refused to tolerate the hazing. He called it unprofessional. He called it mean-spirited. He said it had no place in a professional environment. And when he confronted Triple H and the others, he made enemies for life. Shamrock believes that moment is why he has never been welcomed back to WWE. He believes Triple H holds a grudge. And the fact that Shamrock has never been inducted into the Hall of Fame supports that theory. He was a huge star during the Attitude Era. He deserves recognition, but he has been ignored. Triple H's role as a locker room enforcer was well documented. He maintained the traditional hazing culture. He believed it was part of the business. He believed it toughened toughened people up. He believed it separated the weak from the strong, and anyone who challenged that system was seen as soft or disrespectful. Ken Shamrock challenged it, and he paid the price. His WWE career ended earlier than it should have, and he has never been brought back in any meaningful way. Ken Shamrock remains one of the only major Attitude Era stars who has not reconciled with WWE. He has not been on a Legends panel, he has not been given a Hall of Fame speech, and he has not been invited to any major anniversary shows. The reason is simple. He stood up to Triple H, and Triple H never forgot. Shamrock could have been a Hall of Famer years ago, but the man who runs the company remembers the guy who said no. And as long as Triple H is in charge, Shamrock will continue to be left out in the cold. Even in 2025, the scars from these rivalries remain. Triple H is now the chief content officer of WWE. He has the power to bring people back. He has the power to forgive. And to his credit, he has done it in some cases. CM Punk is back. The Ultimate Warrior got his Hall of Fame moment. Cody Rhodes returned and won the title. But not everyone has been brought home. Scott Steiner is still out. Ken Shamrock is still waiting. And Bret Hart still refuses to fully forgive. Triple H has flipped the script. He went from burying talent to bringing them back. He went from protecting his spot to building new stars. He went from being the gatekeeper to being the man who opens the door. But the damage he caused on the way up will never be fully erased. The wrestlers he buried remember. The careers he stalled do not get a second chance. And the fans who watched it happen will never forget. You cannot undo 20 years of politics with a few handshakes and Hall of Fame speeches. Triple H became the boss by outlasting everyone. He married into the McMahon family. He played the political game better than anyone. And he survived long enough to take control. But survival is not the same as redemption. You can bring people back. You can make peace. But you cannot undo the past. And the past is filled with wrestlers who never got their moment because Triple H stood in the way. Shane Douglas never got his main event run. Booker T never got his WrestleMania moment. Rob Van Dam never got his championship reign. And those losses are permanent. If you think Triple H was right to protect his spot, hit like. If you think he went too far, hit subscribe. Either way, we have got more heat coming. See you in the next one.